Hello people! So today I'm gonna do my review of the Iron Trials. As always, I am starting with a spoiler-free review and I'm gonna warn you when I go into the spoilers. The Iron Trials is the first book in a series of 5 and is written by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. The only thing the back of this book says is, think you know magic, think again. The Magisterium awaits. But I'm gonna try to summarize the story for you without giving away too much. This book is set in our contemporary world and there's magic and a school for magic, which is the Magisterium. Each year there are the Iron Trials where they test out possible new students. The students that show the most magical abilities get chosen by masters who then take on teaching them. Calum, or for short Cal, has grown up with his magical father who has always warned him of the Magisterium and has told him to do his best to fail this test. However, despite him absolutely failing every test, he does get picked to go to the Magisterium. So here he is in the Magisterium where his father always warned him about, and his only thought is how to get out of there. So in this book we have a magic school and obviously the aspect of training, and I absolutely love these two things about books. The story reminded me a lot of Sonea in The Magician's Guild by Trudy Canavan, and I really adored that book series. The Magisterium itself felt a lot like the Dauntless compound in Divergent by Veronica Roth. And our protagonist Calum himself reminded me a lot of Percy Jackson. So this book reminded me of 3 of my favorite series, which is always a good thing. The first thing that jumped at me and that really confused me was that it was not set in a fantasy world, but rather in our world. I was expecting something like The Magician's Guild or Aragon or Game of Thrones, where we have a fantasy world and kind of medieval times. But Calum goes to a very normal high school and he goes skateboarding and talks about bands that are very recent, which is all very confusing. The fact that it is set in our contemporary world gives it this feeling of a parallel world. But I don't think that the two worlds are weaved together as well as, for instance, Harry Potter. But we still have 4 books to go, so that could improve quite a lot. At first, most of the characters seemed really weird to me, but they grew on me and by now I really love them. They are absolutely well written and well-rounded, and each of them has a distinct personality, which I really like about this book. The writing style of Holly Black and Cassandra Clare together is amazing. It is hilarious. I laughed out loud at times, and Cal's snappy remarks are so perfect. The thing that confused me the most about this book is that they shortened Calum to Cal, and I always read Call when I was reading the book, and that made no sense at all in any of the sentences, so that was really confusing to me. I absolutely adore the premise of this book and the way it is written. It is the best fantasy book that I have written in a very long while. It is different, and I love that it is different, and I love the way it is different. I cannot tell you in what way it's different because that would be a spoiler, and I would also advise you to not read the author's note before you have finished the book, because that will spoil you the book as well. Speaking of spoilers, I'm gonna go into the spoilery part of this review, and I would appreciate it very much if those of you who haven't read the book yet could leave now and come back when they have read the book, so that I can now go into the spoilery part. Goodbye! As I've said just now, I love how this book is different. It is absolutely not predictable in most cases. If you read the author note as well, you know that this was actually the intention of Holly Black and Cassandra Clare, and I think they did a very good job. I did suspect that Aaron would be the chosen one rather than Cal, just because of the cover. Aaron is in the middle, and that usually means that he's the leader of the group. Because of the cover, I was obviously also expecting that the trio in this book would be Cal, Tamara, and Aaron. And so the first few pages of the book were not really surprising to me at all. That changed really quickly though. Even though I expected that Aaron was not the chosen one, it still blew my mind that our protagonist was not the chosen one. And I fell in love with this book at this point so hard. I absolutely love this. It is so fun to not know what is going on with the chosen one and to see the perspective of someone standing outside of it. I do have to admit that Cal is still special, still semi-chosen one, and still very important, and not just a bystander, but still it's so refreshing to not have to read the protagonist being the one. After this point, everything went into a completely different direction than what I expected, and I loved every second of it. When I read first about Drew, I thought he'd become our Neville. He's a bit clumsy at first, and he's not good at school, he gets bullied, etc, etc, but he actually turned out to be our Quirrell, which is scary because he had me fooled. This was a completely new experience for me because usually I'm really good at reading characters and suspecting things about them. I didn't expect anything about Drew. I didn't even think about him being bad. I just thought he was a bit clumsy and naive. That took me entirely by surprise, and I just stared at the book for about a minute and couldn't read on because I couldn't process this. With Cal, I obviously suspected that something was wrong. I thought that maybe he had chaos magic as well and he could fight with Aaron, or B, that he was the son of a Chaos Ridden and so was Chaos Ridden like Havoc but didn't show it too much, or C, that he was somehow the son of Constantine. I would have never, ever, under any circumstance, have guessed that he was Constantine. That just blew my mind, and I couldn't understand it. It made so much sense. Suddenly, everything made so much sense. But honestly, I couldn't believe it. So this really was a game changer. We are reading out of the perspective of the evil one, of the enemy. That is amazing. It changes everything. I have to say that I believe that Cal can fight Constantine and be himself and be a good person, and that the enemy is going to be eradicated because Cal himself decides to not be that person anymore. Also, I just realized if he's Constantine, that means that he has chaos magic. I was not entirely wrong on that point. Or maybe he doesn't have chaos magic and that's what keeps him from becoming... Oh my god! Okay, I have a theory here. Let me explain. Constantine put his soul into the body of Caleb Hunt. They merged together and Caleb Hunt's soul has died. So Cal, as we know him, is Constantine in the body of Caleb Hunt. But what does that mean for the chaos magic? Because Constantine had chaos magic. But he is now in the body of Caleb Hunt. Is Caleb able to do chaos magic now? Because Constantine is able to do chaos magic? Or does Caleb's body prevent the chaos magic and this is why he's never gonna become Constantine again? He's never gonna become the enemy again because he can no longer control chaos magic. That would be so amazing. Also, if he's gonna be Aaron's counterweight, maybe that's gonna do something against the chaos magic and that's gonna do something against Constantine. So he's never gonna be the enemy again. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I'm so proud of myself right now. Apart from that very spontaneous theory I just had, I also really don't think that Cal is gonna turn out to be the enemy. There is the concept of nature and nurture. They have the same soul. Cal is Constantine, but they've been raised differently. Cal never had a twin brother that he can mourn and that he can try to put back to life, which made Constantine the person he is. And Cal also grew up with his loving dad. And you don't know how Constantine grew up. He might have had a shitty life that made him the person he is. So Cal has been exposed to such a different life from Constantine that this could mean that he's going to change and be a very different person. And I hope for that. I'm definitely in for that, and I can't wait for the next book. I would have loved to see more school life in this, but obviously things had to happen, and I am hoping that there's gonna be more school life in the following books, but as per usual, things happen, so that's not usually the case. So I got really excited about my theory there. Tell me down in the comments below if you think I am on a right track or if I'm completely wrong. Please mark them as spoilers though, that would be nice for everyone else. And I think I'm done with this review. I would love it if you could like this video, and as I said, comment down below what you think, what you thought of the book, etc. And subscribe if you want to see more. I am on schedule, which you can find down in the doobly-doo. If you want to know what I'm reading currently, I also have Goodreads. All my social media link thingies are in the doobly-doo as well. And I'm gonna see you very soon. Bye bye!